Wow, what an energizing afternoon. Thanks for everyone for coming out. 4 years ago, we gathered in this very room, and we decided that we're going to fight for change we can believe in. By joining BAIAD this afternoon, you've taken the first step in making sure President Obama wins a second term. But before I get into what you can do right now to get involved, let me give you a little bit of background about BAIAD. BAIAD is a 100%, as you've heard, volunteer-based organization that was founded in June 2004 on the basic principle that the time has come for Iranian-Americans to develop a powerful political voice and influence by becoming active and responsible participants in the American democracy. BAIAD has been chartered and officially recognized by the Santa Clara County and Alameda County Democratic parties, and here are some things that make BAIAD unique. BAIAD is the only Iranian-American organization in the Bay Area that is officially recognized by one of the two major parties in the U.S. This is especially important if you are serious about electing an Iranian-American to political office. BAIAD is the only Iranian-American community-based organization in the Bay Area that is openly and legally political. BAIAD is local, as is all politics. Local presence in the political scene is critical to the success of any community when it comes to having a political voice and influence. And finally, BAIAD is by definition structured as a community-based organization. We have many goals as part of BAIAD. BAIAD encourages and empowers Iranian Americans to actively participate in American civic life. BAIAD raises political awareness among Iranian Americans, as well as others, with respect to issues important to our community. BAIAD identifies, encourages, and supports qualified members of the Iranian American community to seek elected office at local, state, and national levels. BAIAD also leads our party to improve its position on issues important to our community. In 8 years, BAIAD has had many accomplishments. There's not enough time to go over all of these, but I'd like to point out a few of them. BAIAD has educated our community on important issues facing Iranian Americans by holding more than 30 public education events, publishing dozens of articles and press releases, and holding dozens of TV and radio interviews. BAIAD has educated members of the U.S. Congress, Democratic Party, and local politicians about issues important to Iranian Americans. For example, we held numerous face-to-face meetings with members of Congress. On this front, BAIAD has also drafted a strong resolution against unprovoked military action against Iran, which it presented to numerous democratic organizations, including, most importantly, the California Democratic Party. The California State Democratic Party passed and adopted this resolution. BAIAD has also stimulated participation of Iranians in American civic life by registering Iranian Americans to vote, putting together voter guides before most elections, recruiting volunteers and organizing volunteering activities, and the list goes on. So why is your civic participation important? I'm going to illustrate this through one example. In 2006, nearly 100 Iranian professionals with valid visas were refused entrance to the United States at the San Francisco International Airport. Many of them were arrested and put in jail until they could find a return flight out of the US. It is highly unlikely that a similar incident would happen to members of the Indian or Vietnamese communities, for example, since both of these communities have been politically active and can quickly create backlash through the politicians they have built relationships with. What it takes to have a voice and yield influence in a democracy is working with and empowering established civic organizations that represent our community. Historically, we have been hesitant to get involved, to put our names on lists, to commit ourselves to one group or the other. But by standing on the sidelines, it imposes massive costs to our community. By not working for organizations like BAIAD that provide the necessary influence with local, state, and national levers of power, we are preventing ourselves from advancing our community's interests. We have over 10,000 registered Iranian-American Democrats in the Bay Area. Harnessing those numbers and channeling our collective efforts through organizations like BAIAD will provide our community unparalleled influence on a local, state, and national level. Even if only 5% of these 10,000 Democrats take the simple step of becoming a member of BAIAD, we would become the most powerful Democratic club in the entire Bay Area. Bottom line, we need to get involved. Standing before you on this 16th day of September, I will leave you with a call to action. First and foremost, if you are a U.S. citizen and you are not registered to vote, do not leave here without registering. Secondly, we have organized something very exciting. Since California will most certainly go to Obama, we have contacted the Obama campaign in Virginia. Virginia is one of the top 3 most important swing states in the country that will determine the result of the presidential election. BAIAD has worked out the logistics of organizing phone banking activities where we will call the Iranian voters in Virginia and persuade them to vote for President Obama. This is where you come into the picture. We need a lot of volunteers to be able to actually have a measurable impact. In the last cycle, my mother and my father phone banked for then Senator Barack Obama. If they can do it, so can you. We can train you in less than 10 minutes. And thirdly, we need you to support BAIAD in any way you choose. The easiest way you can do that is by becoming a member of BAIAD. Try to picture this. BAIAD is speaking with a member of Congress regarding any issue. Can you imagine how different our conversation would be if we had 500 members versus just 50? Our strength is in our numbers. By the way, if you used to be a member, a paid member of BAIAD, the chances are your membership is expired. You can renew that today in the back. I'd like to ask you to please take this small sheet out. It was placed on every seat in the audience. It has a list of a number of ways you can make a difference. So please fill this checklist out right now and take it to the BAIAD table in the back, and your volunteers will sign you up for whatever activity of your choosing. Thank you so much. We cannot wait to work with you to keep building our voice for our community as we look forward to 4 more years. Thank you very much.